Any signs of good news out of the housing market is good news for us. It's Tuesday, August the 19th, and this is Markets with Megan. If you like this podcast, please, you can subscribe, hit that alarm bell. Also, share it with friends, family, or colleagues. But we're here today to go over some of the economic data that we saw this morning, and this week is a big week from the housing market perspective. So we kick it off with the housing starts and building permits for the month of July. And what we saw was a little bit of a mixed bag, but we're gonna look at the positive in this report. We saw that housing starts, or those that are starting construction, they rose much more than expected in July, up 5.2%, and the expectation was for them actually to decline by about 2%. When you look at building permits, though, this can be a leading indicator on housing construction. That actually fell a bit more than expected, and that was down 2.8% versus an expectation of just falling by about 0.5%. But let's dig into these details. What we've seen is that those housing starts primarily in the single family homes. So this is bringing some more inventory on the market, which is exactly what we need to see to start to thaw some of this housing market. You saw single family homes, they rose about 3% on a month over month basis. You also saw that the multifamily units rose almost 10% for the month, and that was on the back of about a 34% increase the prior month. So we're seeing some headwinds here from that construction standpoint. The only downside that we see in this is that the multifamily home permits, they actually fell about 8% for the month. So we're going to take the positive in that we're starting to see construction on both the single family and the multifamily rising. What we have seen this year is that the mortgage rate has been coming down. We saw the mortgage rate peak out this year a little over 7%. I think it was about 7.1%, and that was early in January. We're now looking at the average 30-year mortgage rate down to about 6.75%. So we are seeing some improvement here on that mortgage rate, which is bringing some of the construction to the market. We'll be back this week. We were out last week on vacation, but we'll be back this week to catch up with some of the economic data, not only from the housing perspective, but we also have a lot of stuff going on in Washington. So if you want a history of our podcast as well, you can go to marketswithmegan.fm. Thank you.